My name is Wendell Zerb. I'm President and CEO of Red Canyon Resources. We trade under the symbol REDC. I'm going to talk to you about earlier stage copper, all North American focused, and about what we think is a new discovery. Standard cautionary statement. I will be making forward-looking statements. Just real quickly, as sort of a theme of everything that I'll talk about, with Red Canyon, to get exposure to what we believe is a new copper moly porphyry discovery in British Columbia. I'm going to talk about the Kendall project. It's 100% owned. There's no underlying royalties. We have tagged into a big mineral system. We need to vector to that higher grade, but I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about the infrastructure, and it was mentioned earlier today, the importance of infrastructure. Absolutely critical for base metal companies, plain and simply because that infrastructure drives everything from an economic standpoint. And again, it's rare for small companies to have new discoveries. We have 7 additional copper projects spread between BC and the Western US, and I'm also going to talk about our Scraper Springs, which we think is possibly a Tier 1 opportunity. We got a great team I'll talk about. I'll talk about those jurisdictions. And again, infrastructure is a real key theme for Red Canyon. All of our projects are road accessible, and that's what we want to stick with because, again, that high margin opportunity. And I'll just mention a few things about what I feel about market cycles. So how significant is a new discovery? Well, this is a chart that's put together by S&P Global. It shows discoveries in the copper space going from 1990 to about 2014. Fair number of discoveries being made. And if you go to the right-hand side of the chart, you can certainly see there's not a lot of copper being discovered. So everybody talks about the equations associated with copper, but on the supply side, it is completely constrained on new discoveries. And again, if we can tag into one, they could be worth a lot. What I'm also going to show you here is this is a chart of the S&P TSX Venture Exchange Index. It actually pushes back even further into the VSE days, back into the 1980s. And to me, this is a real sort of explanation about cycles in junior mining. And you can see the beautiful upside spikes that you get in our business. And of course, you can see the terrible downside that you also get. So I think the key thing that I would like to mention about where we're at in our space is you can go to the far right-hand side of the chart and you can see where we're at today. Excellent time to be investing in good quality companies. Have a good bit of patience. If you believe in cycles, I think we're going to get one. Don't be buying at the top when your Uber driver tells you a stock tip. Real quickly on capital structure, 45 million shares outstanding. We have a very tiny market cap. It's about 7 million. 62% of the shares are held by the 10 largest shareholders. I am the largest shareholder. We have early participation from institutions. And the only other thing of note is that Red Canyon falls under the banner of NewQuest Capital. This is one of 6 companies under the NewQuest banner. So team, my background is I'm a geologist. I've been in the business for 30 plus years, spent 17 years in capital markets, and was fortunate enough when I left capital markets to run a company that was sold to major mining companies. That was a copper gold asset in Chile. That's exactly what we're trying to emulate, make discoveries, create value for shareholders, and sell them. Craig Hart is well known in the industry. He's our chief geoscientist. Very smart individual, well known. He's chairman of Snowline Gold. People like Christopher Wild, who runs all the exploration for us in North America. Caleb Strube, who helps us in the US side of things. Again, all the way through here, you'll see people that are really focused on the ability to get things done on projects. And again, it's that strong geoscience that we're trying to emulate. All of our projects, again, you can see on this map where we're located, the biggest belts, copper belts in North America. I'm going to talk about Kendall in BC, and I'm going to talk about Scraper Springs, but we have a whole pipeline of copper projects. Again, 100% owned, no royalties. So infrastructure has been mentioned before, and I'm going to hit it again on how important it is. The Kendall project sits just outside of Terrace, BC, west central British Columbia. You can see rail power, road, port facilities just out to the west at Prince Rupert. You could not find a better location to make a copper discovery in BC. We have a massive alteration footprint. This depiction is really just showing the geochemical signature of what we have at Kendall. And the white box that you see there, that is the first ever footprint of a drilling program that's been done at Kendall. We put in 5 drill holes in October, November last year. That box, just to put it into perspective, would represent about 1 billion tons of rock. Every single drill hole hit copper, moly, mineralization. We've hit all the right kind of vein sets that you want. We just haven't got right into the high-grade zone yet, and that's what we need to do. Just an example, this drill hole is a 600-meter drill hole. Top to bottom, we have copper, moly mineralization. It's low grade. We got to go find the high grade. But again, given the infrastructure, given the size of this system, we think we're going to be able to do that. And that's going to create value. Another sort of representation of that, this is some drill core. You can see the multiple vein sets that you get in these 2 different drill holes. Those are 750 meters apart. We stepped out big on this system. We know that it's even bigger than this depicts, but that's the kind of thing that we think we're going to be able to continue to progress with. A little bit of an example about copper moly systems. On the left-hand side, we have a footprint of the Pinto Valley mine in Arizona, very similar style of mineralization that we see. You can see the hot colors and you can see the cold colors. Those represent copper grades, and you can see how you got to go and find the red areas. Well, on the right-hand side is the footprint of our Kendall project. We have lots and lots of room to still find the high grade, and again, infrastructure will drive this project. I'm going to move on to our Scraper Springs. This is another significant asset of ours. It sits in the western U.S. It sits at the northern trend of the Carlin District. Everything in Nevada is usually focused on gold and silver, but we think what we're onto is a big porphyry system that is closer in line with a Bingham Canyon-style copper project that you would have out of Utah. So when you're looking at these big mineral systems, especially porphyry systems, they have a signature, they have a footprint, and we call it the alteration footprint. So you can see where Scraper Springs sits in the Carlin Trend on the right-hand side of this slide. You can see the size of our alteration footprint. When you look at other big deposits around the world, that is their same scale footprint, and it's the red part of it that is the ore body. This project has never been drilled for the porphyry system here. It's a massive alteration footprint, and I'm going to just give you a few slides that give us confidence that we're onto a big system here. On the left-hand side is a typical porphyry model. The pink oval is where you're trying to target to find your copper mineralization. The red oval that's going horizontally is where we think the Scraper Springs sits in this particular model. We have all the right kind of alteration on surface, and we have high temperature type minerals that give us confidence that we're in the right part of the system. Again, it's never been tested for copper mineralization. So outside of what we see geologically on surface, geochemically on surface, we always do geophysics to try to hone us into the best part of the system. What you're looking at here is a gravity underlying map. We have an alteration zone that we think is depicted by a mag destruction. That's the white. We have a magnetic high. We've done IP geophysics across this to look for chargeable and conductive zones. And again, it's all this combination of evidence that gives us, a high conviction that we're onto a big tier 1 system. So when you look at this geophysics, this is just one line of geophysics that has cut across here. The top line is showing a conductive feature in correspondence with a high chargeable zone. These are the classic signatures that you look for in these big copper systems. We think we have an outstanding drill target and the opportunity to make a very, very large copper discovery. This is the lay of the land for Scraper Springs. Again, infrastructure is phenomenal. There's road access to this. We have a series of different gold mines that sit peripheral to here. And again, if you're looking for ESG and you're looking for infrastructure to be able to develop something, a discovery here would be an excellent location to develop something. So just to sum things up, Red Canyon, very small cap company, but it gives you exposure to what we think is a new copper moly discovery in British Columbia. Excellent infrastructure. We realize that we have to vector into the higher grade zone, but again, history tells us that these big systems have higher grade areas, and we're going to be looking forward to further drilling and other work to hone in on that. 7 additional 100% copper-owned projects. A whole bunch of those are being worked in the background, and several of them look absolutely fantastic. But I've just showed you Scraper Springs, which again could be a tier 1 discovery. Obviously, there's work there. Obviously, there's risk. But again, it's that opportunity that gives torque to shareholders in Red Canyon. We have a very strong team. It's a strong technical team. We've been in this business a long time. We've had discoveries behind us and successes. We are only in quality jurisdictions that have that great infrastructure. And I hope you think that we're at the right part of the cycle. I sure do. And good quality exposure to good companies is about now. So thank you very much.